Good morning students. This video is for class 6 science and today also we will continue with same biology. Our top today, yesterday I have explained your type of diseases. Today we will discuss about how communicable diseases are spread. How they spread. Before that, you can see there they have given you a box where they have given you diseases, pathogens, and spread through. So diseases, what are the diseases caused? Pathogens, which virus, which protozoa, microorganism causes this disease, and how they spread from one person to another. Now, how communicable disease spread? Communicable diseases can spread through different modes, different media. They can spread from one person to another through different objects, through different media agents. Now, diseases that spread through contaminated food. So, food can get contaminated, can get spoiled, can get affected with germs and viruses if not cooked or stored properly. If we do not store it properly, if we do not cook it properly, the food can get spoiled. The contaminant of food can be a pathogen, a chemical, or any other harmful substance. So this food, the food that gets contaminated, they can get contaminant by different pathogens, different microorganisms, different diseases, different harmful substances, different chemicals. Suppose if you put some chemical, they can also get contaminated. So food can get contaminated by different ways. Diseases that spread by the consumption, that uses of use by eating of this contaminated food are known as foodborne disease. So any diseases when they are caused by eating this or consuming this contaminated food, those food are known as foodborne. Those diseases are known as foodborne diseases. The common symptoms seen are nausea, vomiting, abdominal cramps, that means pain in the abdominal, and diarrhea. So the common symptoms, the common sign, the symbol, the sign that you can see when you see a person, they are affected with this kind of disease, you can easily see them. You can easily tell them that this person is affected by foodborne disease. So these are the symptoms that you see. They start vomiting, they start having abdominal pain, they start having nausea, all this, diarrhea. What are the ways how we can prevent this? How we can stop this? Let us see. Before preparing or serving food, always wash your hand with soap and water. So I think this is very simple. When you eat food or when you prepare food, we should wash our hand with clean water and soap. The dishcloths used in the kitchen should be dried properly. If left wet after use, they can harbor germs. That means the dishwash clothes, the clothes that you use to wipe the dishes, they should be clean and dry, because when you leave these dish clothes wet, germs can make a house in that. The utensils used for cooking and storing food should be cleaned properly. Obviously the utensils we use to cook, they should be cleaned properly, they should be stored properly. Store raw meat separately and away from vegetables in a refrigerator. So when you keep vegetables in the refrigerator and if you keep raw meat, which is meat that is not cooked, make sure you do not keep the vegetables and the meat in the same place. You should have a separate place for meat as well as green vegetables. Cook meat and fish thoroughly to kill germs. We should cook meat and fish, that is especially non-veg food, very thoroughly, very properly, so that no germs are present in that food. Avoid consuming content of packed food after the date of expiry. So if you buy any packed food, once the date is over, we should avoid using those food. We should avoid consuming. We should avoid eating those food. Use pasteurized milk. That means milk that is already boiled. To kill the germs, we should use those milks. When you buy milk, please heat it, boil it, so that the milk become pasteurized and no germs are present in that. Kitchens and storerooms should be kept clean and free from cockroaches. So we should keep the place wherever we keep food, like kitchen and storeroom where we keep raw material. Those places should be clean, because if it is not clean, cockroaches or other insects can make a house in that place. So I hope you have understood this. The first one, diseases that spread through contaminated food. Now there are different diseases which spread through contaminated water. That means water that has already lost its value and it has become dirty, impure. Diseases that spread due to the consumptions of contaminated water or beverages are known as waterborne diseases. So diseases that are the diseases that are caused by the use of this contaminated water, impure water, are known as waterborne diseases. Contamination can spread through bathing, washing, drinking, and preparing food with that water. Some of the symptoms, some of the common symptoms, some of the common signs that you can see are sore throat. That means the throat will be, it will start paining, it will swell up. Cough, fever, diarrhea, abdominal cramps, bloating, nausea, and vomiting. So these are the symbols you can see. In this, these are the symbols that you can easily make out that this disease is caused by contamination of water. And what are the ways that we can prevent this? Let us read one by one. Water from rivers, streams, and lakes, if untreated, should not be used for consumption. So any water that is kept open, that should not be used for your consumption. That should not be taken unless it is treated and it is made pure. Ice used in juices should be made from treated water, or else it may be contaminated. So the ice that we give in the that we put in the juice so that the juice becomes cold, that ice should be made from pure water, not impure water. Otherwise, if you put that, if you make ice out of that impure water, the water and the juice will be contaminated. Boiling water before drinking is one of the cheapest method to get safe drinking water. So before drinking water, before consuming water, if we boil the water, it will help us to kill the germs that is present in it. Keep drinking water in a closed container in a clean place. So we should keep water, first of all, in a closed container. The mouth of the container should be closed and that water should be kept in a clean place. Next is diseases that spread through direct contact. When we come contact with each other, when you touch each other, or we use things that are used by the affected person. These are some diseases. Let us see. Like for example, chickenpox, measles, ringworm, conjunctivitis, scabies, and athlete's foot are some of the diseases that get transferred from an infected person to a healthy person through direct contact. So these are few diseases which can communicate, which can be transferred from one person to another by direct contact. Direct contact means either by touching that person physically, or by using any object, anything that the affected person has already used. Like for example, sharing clothes. Suppose if I am affected with any such kind of disease, if I use whatever the shirt I am wearing, if this shirt is owned by anyone, that person will also be affected with that disease. So what are the ways to prevent? There are few ways to prevent. Let us see. Always wash hand after using the toilet and before preparing or eating food. So we should always wash our hand before preparing our food and after using the toilet. Public places like railway station, bus stands, and airports should be kept clean to prevent the spread of diseases, as people come from many different places. So especially the public places should be kept clean, because people come from different places, and people coming from different places, so we should keep that place clean. Dispose of used tissues in dustbin to spreading of germs. So the tissue we use, after using it, we should throw it in the dustbin, because if we throw here and there, the germs present in that tissue can be transferred from that tissue to a healthy person. Avoid sharing comb, toothbrush, soap, and other personal clothing. We should avoid sharing any things that we use for our personal use. Keep infected or pus formed wounds clean and away from the contact of others. So if a person is affected by any such kind of disease, if that person gets any wound, open cut, that should be protected properly, that should be covered properly, so that any other healthy person is not affected with that. So I hope children you all are understanding this. The last point for today we will explain is diseases that spread through air. So there are different diseases which spread through air. That means when I'm talking, water droplets come out from our mouth. These water droplets mixes with the air, and that water droplets contains germs also. So when any person passes by me and he or she breathes that air which is mixed with these germs, they go inside and that person also gets affected. Disease that spread. Some pathogens spread to the nearby air in the form of large respiratory droplets when an infected person sneezes, coughs, or exhales. When you breathe out, when you cough, when you sneezes, these germs come out of our body and they get mixed in the air. When these airs are inhaled, the air goes inside, and along with that, the germs, the pathogens also go inside and affect that healthy person. Disease get transferred to other people who are in close vicinity of the infected person and breathe this air. Droplets that spread around stay infectious for some time. Direct contact with any substance on which these droplets are scattered shall infect the healthy individuals. Common cold, diphtheria, influenza, meningitis, mumps, and whooping cough are some very common diseases that are caused by these droplets which remain in the air. And how to prevent this? Cover the nose and mouth with tissue paper while coughing and sneezing. Whenever we cough or sneeze, make sure we cover our mouth. Especially if you don't have tissue paper, we can use our handkerchief, or else we can use our hand also to cover our mouth and nose. And after sneezing, we can easily wash our hand with soap and water. Dispose of used tissue paper that has been used for blowing the nose, sneezing, and coughing. So whenever suppose if you are using that tissue paper to blow your nose or for coughing, you have to dispose. You have to throw that tissue paper in the dustbin. Do not throw here and there, otherwise healthy person can be affected with this. So children, I hope you have understood till here. So for today we will keep it till here. In the next class we will study different other modes of transferring of this communicable disease. So for today up to this much. Thank you class.